All right, man. Hey, yo, welcome back to Recap and Record Podcast. Your Game of Thrones podcast official, you know what I'm saying? This is the season finale of House of the Dragon, but also season finale of Recap and Record, man. I'm your host, Los, and I got my boy Levi with me. And yeah, man, this is it, man. This is the final week. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, like this is, I mean, having two podcasts, juggling two podcasts, and you know, even to the degree that I gotta juggle it, like you're an amazing guy. This guy is the MVP of the podcast. Don't get it confused. I got some flair, you know what I mean? But this guy, he's the hardest working guy I know, man. So shout out to you, man. And I'm glad that we did this, man. And
yeah, and I mean, well, sorry, if
no, and I just feel like this just opens up so much, and I think that we might even use the recap and record. I can see us using it even individually. Sometimes, like talking about our own type of shows we want to do. See, I can see us do obviously different type of shows. I can see it's very universal, and I like what we kind of
man, and
put our brains together to do.
And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about the future of the pod, and of course we'll get into this episode in a minute, but and I was thinking, obviously, like you and I have to have a conversation because I don't even know. You might not even like working with me. Maybe like this guy's whack. I don't fucking want to work on season 2, whatever. I'm not cancel this shit. Take the name and get someone out, like get another white boy to do it with you.
No.
No, but
I got a quota, man.
That's right. One in your life at a time. That's it. And one podcast host in your time of your life. That's it. No, but yeah, and so, dude, I've been like toying around with the idea because I have this Plex server with like 3,000 movies on it that I just want to like run through them all.
Oh,
so
wow.
Like maybe like this can do it. I don't know. I'm not sure. It's very interesting, but I will say my household is happy that the season finale is here and over. Will give me just a smidge more time of my life back, but just
right.
It's fine. Listen, it takes what? It takes a few hours to record, a few hours to edit, and then the rest of my life to promote it and everything else. So it is what it is. It's all good, man. But it's fun. It's because
it is fun. This is fun to do. I have fun with my 280 plus. I know you have fun with what are you doing or what are we doing? But it's just a different type. It's focus. It's a focus. Like we got to work. Like our other podcasts, we got to put that shit together. You know what I mean? Like half of the work is done for us for recap and record, and we just get to talk our shit. And I think that's why, like it's funny because sometimes I don't even realize what we said. And then like even the last episode, even though episode 9 wasn't that great, there was a lot of good, like just things that me and you said. And it's like, oh shit, we were cooking, like, you know what I mean? So
we turned the worst episode of the season into the longest episode of the podcast.
Yeah, that's weird. That's so weird. That's so weird.
But I mean, that's why it works, man. That's why it works. It works. And I mean, of course, like, the fans are listening. I mean, dude, blown away by the numbers, the YouTube channel, okay? I mean, like, our last couple episodes, okay? Double digits high, okay? It's not like breaking through the ceilings, but like, it's doing better than I thought it was. It's doing better than my fucking channel. I know yours pops off because you've got guests all over the fucking planet.
Don't do that, man. It always could be better, man. I don't like to brag because I'm not there yet. Like, you know what I mean? But
we're getting I mean, listen, the interactions we're getting on Twitter and everything on Instagram and just all the feedback you're getting and I'm getting and everything else. It's just, it's great. I loved it. This was a great run. A perfect little test, like a perfect little season 1. Yeah. I think to figure out the format and recording issues and everything else and back and forth and stuff like that. So I think it was great, man. I had a blast.
Definitely. So let's get started, man.
Yes,
and let's go. So we're in the finale, and we both agreed that the penultimate wasn't where it was, but it did end well. It ended well, and we got Rhaenys, and she set it off. In the last episode, but then she basically sets off the beginning of this episode a little bit. Right. Now, you do have a little bit of Rhaenyra talking to her son, acting like a little bitch, I mean, a little bit, I mean, Luke is acting a little soft, whatever. But Rhaenys comes through and she sets it off. and she's there to tell basically about the news, you know what I mean, about everything. Like, yo, I came through, and you know, your people, you know what I mean, your dad's wife, your stepmom, she put your brother on the throne, and like in front of everybody, and like you know, I don't know what to do. But then Daemon was like, and we had the same reaction, like, you could have just snapped your finger, you know what I'm saying, and got these motherfuckers out of here. But she kept it real. She said, yo, this ain't my fight to start. Like, this ain't my fight to start. So
well, and Daemon, of course, too. Daemon also in this scene acted as if he didn't just see his brother flaking in his pigeon pot pie like 2 weeks ago. He immediately jumps to, that's it. He was slain. They killed him. We left, and they killed him, and they murdered him in his sleep. They must have been a setup. We're going to war. Get the guards ready. We've got 300. We've got 13 dragons. We've got this many soldiers. I got this many Kingsguard. Let's go. He was ready to burn the whole motherfucking city down in that moment. As he was through the whole episode. We get a little bit of dragon therapy for him, and that's okay. We'll get to it in a minute. But homeboy was on the bat with conspiracy theories, like fucking, like, that's it.
But that's a 180 though, because he don't fuck with his brother. Like, so it's like, I don't know. But it's like, has he matured? Has he gotten over some of the stuff that he had with his brother? I don't know.
I'd say so, probably a little bit. And because too now, I mean, it's just kind of, I think he understands his place in the game. And it's his wife, and they're fucking with his wife. And you know what I mean? If that was like us, we'd be like, hey, bro, off with your head. And so that's pretty much the attitude he had. And that's pretty much the attitude he kind of carries through the whole episode. And so, you know, yeah, man. So Rhaenyra sets it off. And, you said Rhaenys sets it off.
Yeah, Rhaenys,
And so with this news, of course, just comes the stress of the body that this news comes, and the baby's on its way.
So, all right. Yes. And then, the baby's on its way, and, you know, all right. And just that baby died, right?
Yes.
Okay. Cause I have it as stillborn, but I was like, I don't know. Cause then I feel like they named another, they was talking about another kid. And I was thinking like, how many kids do her and Daemon got?
Helena. So that was Helena. That was supposed to be.
Okay. But the two boys that they have are alive and well.
Yes. They are. They've got. Yeah.
They got Aegon the Younger. And who's the other one?
Viserys. Yeah, Viserys.
Viserys. Okay.
Yeah. So they're just babies.
But like, why the fuck did we like? I'm tired. That's the one thing. So like you were saying prior to the show, like a little bit all over the place. I don't think I needed to see another birth scene. You know what I mean? And this was the most graphic of all of them, I think. I don't know about you. This was the most graphic. Well,
she pulled it out. I mean,
she pulled it out of her joint, bro.
Yep.
That shit just hit the floor.
She kind of scooped it. It was kind of like one of these kind of like scoopty.
But then you gonna show it. They showed us everything. Like they showed us the baby's head and the body. I'm like, whoa.
Did you see its dragon's tail?
No. What? Well, time out. That baby had a dragon's tail?
The book describes it as a malformed baby with a sharp spiked tail coming from its behind.
I thought it was, the baby did look scaly, like it was like reddish scaly, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck, like I never said, is that what still, like it just blew my mind. I was like, is that what stillborns look like? Like I don't fucking know.
If you go back and watch the scene, they show it on the floor. You can see the tail between the leg and the floor.
Oh.
And allegedly, I think, I don't know if they showed it in Game of Thrones, but I know in the books, I believe Daenerys. In the main series, like the same thing happened. She had a stillborn miscarriage, and the baby was to be described with a scaly tail. So I don't know if that, maybe we can ask our guests later what that has to do with anything. I don't know if they ever explain that.
Yeah.
Or
is that why she didn't want any help? Like, did she kind of know? Well, why didn't she want any help? You know what I mean? Like, why did she want to just do that one on her own? Was she fearing that Oh, yeah. I mean, we seen this scene with my mom. We seen this with Lena.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like when these people intervene.
Yep.
That she don't, but obviously people have helped her in the past. So like that's what I'm saying, because we seen her give birth to a little baby and he was cool. But like, yeah, what do you think? What do you think?
I think you're exactly right. I think because it was a stillborn, they would have either, if they would have been interjected and tied her to the bed and had the nurses and all the ladies there helping her and all that shit. I think it would have been
tried to save the baby.
Right. Yes. They would have cut her open and she would have died, and she wasn't having it. And she said, hey, it's either me or the baby. And I feel it. And I know what this feels. And she said she's done it 5 times now. Right. So she knows exactly what's going on in the situation. And so she knows what's up. And she's like, I saw what happened to, Lena. I saw what happened to my mom. I saw what happened to all these other women. It's not happening to me. I'm not done yet. So let me get it out. Leave me the fuck, go away. Get it out. Do it's like one of these scoop. She kind of scooped it.
Yeah.
She did a scoop and then, wrapped it up.
Yeah, and that was a little wild. And what I think of when I come, seeing this scene, and it just kind of magnified it because, obviously, this is this is the society is a true patriarchy for the most part, what I mean? And obviously Viserys went against that, whatever. Mostly out of necessity, because he didn't have a male heir at the time, and he didn't want to keep hedging his bets,
right?
And worrying about that. So so this was a shift, but it was only by circumstance, but it kind of shows why women aren't in power though. And just in general, this is this crosses over into the real world in terms of that's the main reason, that's a reason, the childbearing, how vulnerable women are, just in life, you know what I mean? And when certain circumstances come into play, they can't really be fully in. She can't really be into the she can't be like Daemon is, and he could just round up the troops and get ready,
storm into battle 8 months pregnant.
She has to. And the thing is, we did see some powerful women in Game of Thrones, but Cersei already had her kids,
right?
Yeah, I mean, so it was okay. She already experienced that vulnerability, so she was not vulnerable at all. Now she did lose her kids, but those are grown kids. She lost, but we didn't get to see that side of her. And then even Daenerys, she never. She had dragon babies, but she never was that kind of. She didn't have that vulnerability of childbearing, and we didn't really see any women have to that meant something for real go through that in Game of Thrones. So pointing it out, it's oh, that's why. That's kind of why they don't have queens and stuff like that. It's because what I mean? What the fuck she gonna do? She wasn't ready to fight. She wasn't ready to do that. And now, but again, that might have been for good reason, though. I mean, maybe. And Rhaenys talks about that later, and we'll get into that. But maybe there is something to it. And that I think women will say, see, that's why women need to be in power, because of the restraint.
And I was going to say, does the fact that they can have, children make them more powerful?
Oh, yeah.
So that's, I would say, I don't, and you're right though. I think I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. The Game of Thrones never really.
Nah, we didn't see that.
Right.
Yeah, the most powerful women, they were not having kids yet. Sansa never had a kid. We didn't see her go through that. Now she went through some other horrors. Arya was too young to have any kids. Catelyn was, she got kids.
Right.
Her sister got kids. Or a kid, so we never really see Brienne. Brianna, or she wasn't doing that or nothing like that, so But so man, so let's move on. And so now we start to get we start to see where the loyalties lie, right. And so Erryk with the E,
yes sir,
Cargill,
Erryk with an E,
Cargill, he shows his fealty, and I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I thought this motherfucker was a Lannister. I thought he was. I didn't know he was. Did you? I don't know, because I was he was Erryk Cargill. I was Oh, so he ain't like he just looked like the boy Thailand a little bit. Like he looked like Thailand looked like that's or Jason or whatever. Or one of them motherfuckers.
Yeah.
One of these motherfuckers. They look like he looked like Jason a little bit. Like him and the twin look like Jason Lannister.
Yep.
So I thought like that's why I thought like, wait up, the Lannisters don't really seem to be on that side. So
Lannisters are team green.
Yeah. So Erryk Cargill, the twin, he basically, he's the one that kind of dipped off.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that was trying to get Rhaenys out of King's Landing.
Mm-hmm.
He goes there and basically he gives her the crown. And the all these scenes, like in this moment, it reminds me of those Robb Stark, King of the North scenes. It reminds me of Jon Snow when he's in Winterfell and he's trying to get the support. It reminds me of them when they're crowning him the King of the North, whatever. And so it made me feel good. I felt like, all right, this is. I know what this is about to. I know what's about to happen now. You know what I mean?
The phrase that he said when he was on his knee handing the crown, that is what all Kingsguards say when they pledge their allegiance to a new king or a queen when they start, whenever. So that's like the pledge of allegiance, essentially.
Yes.
That everyone uses. So yeah. Awesome. Definitely a familiar scene and just a dynamic. I mean, here we are at the funeral of yet another one of her children and then it's burning and they're doing what they have to do. And just when we think another person's here to sabotage something or mess something up, Erryk with an E swoops in with Daddy's crown and just kind of like, look, this is go time, bitch. Black Queen, let's go. You know what I mean? We gotta put the crown on. We got things to do. King's Landing's overruled. They surplus the throne. Like, let's rock and roll. It's game time. You ready to go to war or what?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man, it's very interesting. Did you notice in that scene when he put the crown on her, everyone but I think Rhaenys kneeled. Rhaenys did not kneel. I don't think she did.
Okay. I think, well, we'll get into that a little bit, but I think it's she's still on the fence. You know what I mean? Like she came through to give the information.
Right. And she was real quick to dip too. She was like, hey, your dad's, she gave her all the best of luck and everything out of respect that she absolutely needed to. And then she was like, okay, bye.
And I think all that too was, at the time when she got out, that's self-preservation because they were going to kill her. You know what I mean? Like the Greens would have, if because she's not the type that's just going to, not knowing where her husband is and still kind of hoping that her husband comes back to life, or comes back. Like, I think she was just like, no, I gotta talk to my man first and we're going to find him first. So I got to get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? So,
yep.
So they're on Dragonstone and, now we have a queen. We have a king, a false king, but we have a queen, but she's not on the throne, but she's at Dragonstone. And they get a visitor. And this motherfucker is so bold. And he's just doing his job.
I wish he would have ate him. I wish the dragon would have ate him.
Should have just, got him. And we do see some lunch later on, but we'll get into that. Man. So Otto pulls up, man, and this is the second time he pulled up the. This is the second time he pulled up the Dragonstone on that bridge.
Yep.
Laying the law.
He's been here plenty of times. Right.
So it felt reminiscent, and he's just telling them what it is. Like, it's like, all right, yo. So your brother is the king, like, because your dad said he was the king, and there's nothing you could do about it. You know what I mean? That oath that people swore, that's stale. He called them stale oaths.
Stale oath. Yep.
Yeah, I mean stale oats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean So he's like, yo, that don't count for shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a fuck whatever you want to do.
Right.
And then he telling them what's going on. He's like, yeah, you know what I mean? Your sons will be taken care of.
And and he gives them the bullshit. He's like, yeah, your son's going to be the head cupbearer. Yeah. Your other son's going to mop the floors. Your other son, guess what? He's going to get to scrub the toilets. And they're all going to get like a little gold star on their name tag. So everyone in the castle knows that they're just a little bit important. You know, they're going to make an extra 25 cents an hour working around the castle because they're your kids. And you know what? Hey, this castle you're staying in, fucking keep it.
Keep it.
And like, hey, Daemon's like, hey, I'd rather feed the kids to the fucking dragon than have them scrub a toilet for you. bitch.
Yeah, like they're not gonna be. Yeah, they're not carrying your wine.
Right.
You know what I mean, or your boy
shit,
or your
bullshit.
son's wine.
Right.
So, yeah, and I love what he said about his, his Wait, now I always forget. How is he related to that little boy?
Who?
That's his nephew. Aegon is his nephew, right?
Aegon is his nephew. Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, this little cunt of a king you got. And I was like,
that
cunt of a king.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yep.
So Daemon's with the shits, and then we get a surprising reaction because like it could be over. Like, another time where all it takes is a dragon to end this shit, whatever.
Right. Yep.
And Rhaenyra stalls.
Yep.
And she says, I'll let you know tomorrow what we're gonna do. I mean, we got let me talk about it, whatever. So I wonder, like, what was Otto thinking was gonna happen in that? Like, all right, she's stalling. I want to know what that side is thinking. Do they think like, we got him. We got him.
Well, I think most likely. And I think honestly, man, if the events of the end of the episode wouldn't have happened, then I think she would have agreed to the terms because I think so.
No, because they were set members. They were trying to get their loyalties in place, whatever. So like, because they didn't know that was going to happen. Now that I think that sparks it to happen, but no, it seemed like they was ready to go to war. Like,
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. I don't know, man. Maybe, but I think. Yeah, I think, well, and I think this also is just another true testament as to why she should be queen, right? Because she's level-headed. Because here we have Daemon, who, by the way, in the books, Daemon in the books was also hesitant to go to war. Like, he wanted to take like a week off and be like, hey, let's like not hesitate. Let's just like take a minute and like calm down. But in the show, they made him like gung-ho, let's go. So... but anyways,
so why was he hesitant in the books?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
I'm not sure. I just know that.
I know. Yeah, we don't read the books. We just know information from the.
Right. Exactly. Another weird thing about this show. But so he. So I think that just shows to her strengths and why she should be in charge and in power, because she's not like the men who just want to send the ravens, send the dragons, send the king's guard, send this guy here, send this guy here, kill them, kill this, do this. We'll have this done before the morning, as Daemon states it, right? And
yes.
So Rhaenyra's like, hey, let's just maybe take a step, like a breathe. Just the same way we see Alicent. When the king died, we saw her dad send the ravens, kill her, kill them, do this, do that, get the boy on the throne, end the day, we'll have it done by morning, right? And Alicent was like, hey, wait a minute, take a step back. Let's wait, what? What's the plan? No, let's do it this way. You know what I mean? So I think that just was kind of that dynamic, showing that dynamic between them two and how they'll kind of continue into season 2.
Well, yeah, and my comment earlier, like, not saying that women shouldn't be in charge, whatever, but like, why, just explaining why men felt like, at least in that time, felt like they shouldn't be in charge. But this is maybe showing that, like, hey, maybe, sometimes we could take a step back, but and that could have its own consequences as well. Just like going full force into battle could have its consequences. Yeah. Then we get a little, Because basically, while she's kind of explaining and they're kind of game planning and strategizing, whatever, Daemon is just like, you almost feel like he's in charge, and I think that's what I'm saying, like this dynamic of women in charge. He don't, he's trying to find his place.
But Rhaenyra shuts his shit down too, even on the bridge. Like, she like gave him the look, and he just took his sword and he went like right like this. Yeah. And so he understands the power dynamic, but he also has a place. Yes.
He does have a place. And then we get a weird scene, man, because when she cleared the room, because she's like, oh, well, because he's in front of everybody, you know what I mean? Right. Like, he's stepping on her plans and her ideas. He's like, oh, basically like kind of pointing out her weaknesses, you know what I mean, in front of everybody. Yep. And she said, clear the room. Yep. And then maybe she shouldn't have did that, because we get a little DV Daemon there, you know what I mean? DV Daemon, DVD, man, a little bit, you know what I mean? He yokes her up, you know what I mean? And I'm thinking like, oh my God, this is like, and I don't know. Nah, I'm not gonna say we never seen that because we definitely have in certain things, but that was kind of wild. Like a queen.
Well, and so
yoked up like that.
And so in that moment was about her weighing her options, because she can either go to war with Alicent and fight now and use all of her resources and drain the tank and lose people and dragons in the process and take her throne back.
And rule over Ash and Bone.
Ash and Bone. Yep. Or we let some more dragons, we charge them up, we get some eggs to hatch, we take a step back, maybe agree to some of their terms, maybe not, we'll maybe do it peacefully, I don't know. Because, hey man, there's a prophecy and there's like an ice king and he's coming and like it's winter and like it's a song of ice and fire. And then so like she can barely get a word out before he chokes her. And then it's like we realize, like you said, not every Targaryen knows.
Yeah, so that was so strange to me because I thought at least the older ones all knew.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So like, does Rhaenys even, like, you know what I mean? Like, because it felt like it was like this best kept secret, but I guess it only goes from whoever the king is or whoever's going to be the king or the ruler to the next ruler.
Yep.
The sideshow, you know what I mean? Sideline Targaryens aren't privy to this information. Right. And that was kind of weird to me because it was like, and it's funny because that's why he doesn't tell his son like what's going on. You know what I mean? Like his others, Aegon, because it's like, no, it's not your time. You're not supposed to know this, whatever. You know what I mean? And then obviously, and that's where he fucked up, him being not coherent and giving out the sauce. And then this sparks this war, whatever. But like, because she was like, oh, because he made fun of it. He's like, oh, see, my brother, man, that's what he did. He worried about all these like omens and stuff like that. I mean, that's what made him weak. But then she was like, oh, you didn't know. So like, it's like, whoa, wait up. That's kind of wild. It's
kind of also too a small token of a power dynamic. It's like, hey, I'm in the military and I've got like 14 stripes, but Daemon, you've only got 12. Like I got my 2 extra Song of Ice and Fire stripes.
Yes.
And it's like, hey man, you don't know what I know. So get your hands off my neck because you know what I mean? It's like also that weird, like I'm kind of in the club thing and like Daemon doesn't get it and he doesn't really want to get it because he doesn't, I don't think believes in it, right? Based on he's like, look, dreams, like this is it's, what are you telling me? Has someone dreamed this? Dreams didn't make us kings. Dragons did. Let's take the dragons. Let's burn down the city. Let's sit on the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy.
So then switching it up, man. And then, oh my God. Then we get the return. We get the triumphant return of Corlys Velaryon.
There he is.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. And then my man is like just hurting. Yeah, I mean, he on his bed.
Still down.
He's in Dragonstone.
Still down a little bad. Yeah.
Still down bad.
Yep.
And then what do you know?
Yep.
Right when you down, you got a woman to knock you down a couple pegs further.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like typical woman response, right? This motherfucker is all hurt and you know, he try to be cute and try to like make fun of her, like, oh yo, you know what I mean? My men, like they get laid out, you know what I mean, for sleeping on the job. He's like, but you ain't no man. Right. You know what I'm saying? You my girl.
He's like, joking around a little bit, right?
Yeah, joking around, poking fun. And she like, motherfucker, you left me alone. It's all your fault. Where the fuck was you at? And I'm like, Can my man breathe? Can my man breathe a little bit?
He just got up.
He just got up. Like from we haven't seen this motherfucker in years. Like episodes are like years. You know what I mean? So it's like, typical woman response. Man is dying, but everything is still his fault. You know what I mean? Like he was at war, but it's still his fault. Right. But it is though. And ironically, it is his fault.
Yep.
Because his quest for power, his quest to get the throne, it led to all these deaths.
Look what
all
happened.
These people,
right? Look what happened.
Look what happened. I mean, and then he realizes it because
BT does.
And she's debriefing him about everything.
Right.
But like, time out though. Before we get further with that, where the fuck did this motherfucker come from? Like, where did he come from?
They mentioned that he was on. They mentioned that he was. I think Rhaenys in the beginning of the episode. Rhaenyra asked like, "What of Corlys?" And I think she mentioned he was on a ship, like on his way somewhere. Like he was en route to somewhere. They didn't know where he was going. And then one of the maesters or people at a table at some point in time said he was on his way to Dragonstone, and then he's here.
Yeah, just fucking appeared, whatever. So, so then he gets the debrief that he has not gotten. I mean, so even though he's back, she tells him everything. She tells him everything that from where he picks up. I mean, that there's a new king. That you know, his brother has gotten killed, and then I think he realizes like, oh shit, like, damn, like I'm acting like my brother, like damn, like I knew, and he didn't even seem like when she told him that Daemon killed him, he didn't even seem mad, like he just was like, fuck, like that's just what we do, that's my family's, that's our family curse, man. We just just jump out the window before we even know what's going on. Right. And he's ready to set it on Rhaenyra. He's like, this little bitch, like, you know what I mean? Everything she fucking touches, yeah, I mean, gets spoiled, and she's the worst thing that could ever happen. Like she killed her son, which I need that. See, if all right, if we're gonna go away from source material, then I need a Lhaenyra triumphant return. What the fuck?
I told Paul today, I so wished he would have came back, like he would have saved his dad, and then came back and like saved them in the middle of the war or something next season or whatever. I don't know, but I mean, he still could come back. Still could do that. His dragon is at his house, Driftmark. Yeah. So I mean, it's possible he could sneak back in, get the dragon, come save the day. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. And Rhaenys, as much as he wants to kill Rhaenyra, Rhaenys reminds him, she's like, well, to be honest, I mean, she's the one that's like kind of holding it down, and she brings up the restraint. Like we've been kind of, that's kind of like the theme of this episode, of this female restraint. And she's like, yo, she didn't rush into battle, and I think we should hear her out. I think we should kind of like take heed of what some of how she's moving and what she's saying and stuff like that. So
So then he has to make up his mind, and we see the table getting lit, and boy oh boy, this table I believe is the table Aegon the Conqueror used when he took over the Seven Kingdoms to do whatever he was. So
and it is still only 6, right? Aren't they calling it the 6?
Oh, sorry, because at Dorne, I guess, isn't,
because Dorne is still not official. Yeah. But no, I just because I heard him say the 6, and
got
I was like, they're not saying 7. But but you're right though.
Yep.
Man. So like you said, Corlys, Rhaenys, Corlys. You didn't know what he was going to actually say. You didn't know where they were headed with that. You know what I mean? Because, he's obviously still bitter. His wife did give him a little bit of a nudge, but still, Corlys does what he wants too at the end of the day. Right. And man, he swears his allegiance to Rhaenyra, and Rhaenys basically she lets her know, like, I'm gonna take Meleys, I'm gonna take my dragon, we're gonna do this, like,
because he also announces that they took the stepstone. They said, listen, my almost demise was not worth for nothing, because homie, we got it. So we're gonna take Rhaenys' dragon, and we're gonna fly it over there, and anytime they need supplies or ships or whatever, we're just gonna blast them on fire, and we're gonna cut off all supplies to King's Landing. So they can do that now, and that'll hopefully help them, I'm assuming.
Definitely. Because I was wondering, like, all right, how much does that, whatever. And that's really the first time we see Driftmark on a map. Mm-hmm. Like, I have not seen it. So I'm like, oh, okay. Right. So, but Driftmark, by the time real Game of Thrones is on, it must have got demolished or something. I mean, like, it doesn't exist anymore. Like, because you don't see that on any other maps. Like because I kept looking at, because like even where Dragonstone, because I thought Dragonstone was where Storm's End was, but no, Dragonstone is just like a little island, like after on the outside, on the like eastern part of King's Landing, like, but it's like kind of in the middle of the ocean a little bit, but like kind of off the coast. Okay. But it's not Storm's End, because I know the Baratheons and they. Right. So I was like, oh, but no, that's like something different. You know what I mean? So so then they got their plan of action, and they're trying to figure out who still rocks with them.
Yep.
And they have all these, and we hear big names. We hear a lot of big names that we know. They're like, yo, we definitely gotta go up north to the Starks.
To Baratheons,
I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to see what the Baratheons are talking about. That's my family. Hopefully, they help us out. The Tullys at River Run, the Eyrie, the Vale. You know what I mean? Like they're like, oh, yo, we got, you know what I mean? And so that's what they do. They get this plan of action, and then the boys at least Jacaerys, he steps up and he's like, you know what? No, like, yeah, we could send ravens, but nah, Mom, I think it's better that we just ride out there. You know what I mean? Because that's more convincing. And then then this leads into the last kind of part of the episode, and it's the start of the dance, man.
Yeah, so we're all headed out, right? Daemon's going this way to do this, Rhaenys is going this way to do this, the boys are going this way to do that. So we'll presumably, I think season 2 will probably open with Rhaenyra's other son in Winterfell, I believe.
Yes, probably.
So, but we follow Luke to Storm's End.
Yes.
And so he's there to meet Borros Baratheon, and he hands a letter to the king. And I didn't catch this at first, but the reason it's just because he
can't read. He can't read, can
he? Yeah, I can't read either. So that's why I didn't catch it at first. Yeah, that's why he asked for the maester, because he can't read.
Man, Baratheons are like that's the crazy thing, because like Baratheons as tough as they kind of come, they just are. They're just pieces of shit. Like they that's just the fan. Like Robert was a piece of shit. Stannis is like as honored. Like he had some honor.
Right.
Piece of shit.
Right.
Renly was a pussy, but you know, and other things. But you know, no, and Renly didn't mean no harm, but like he thought he was the man and he really wasn't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But anyway, so we go to Storm's End, and you know, this is like Luke's probably first time without mommy for real.
Right.
I mean,
his first little mission out the gate. Yeah.
First little mission, whatever. And oh my God, when he got a glimpse of Cuz over there. That little boy was shaking in his fucking boots.
Aemon did a little Backstreet Boys like first song of the concert reveal. He like did a spin around.
You didn't know.
And he was like, yo, what's up? And Luke starts like trembling a little bit, right?
Yeah, like the big swallow, like whoop, like
here's a message from my mom, the queen. She's the queen, just so you know, the queen. It's a message from her to you only.
So do what you want with it, and then so he gives, you know, they read off the message, and Borros is like, so what you got for me, like, I mean, because. Which one of my daughters you marrying? Because
Aemon's already over there, like fingering a girl in the hallway, like making out with her already. He's like, yo, look at my fucking sapphire eye, bitch. Like, and then like he's already done. He's like, yo, I'm gonna marry you, and then I'm gonna feed you to my dragon. Like it's easy for him. Like he gets it. Yeah. So.
And so Borros is like, he's like, man, get out of here. You're like, all right, go home, man. Go talk to your mom, whatever. And as he's about to walk out, because said, hold up. Time out. You thought you just get to leave here,
right?
And you think you just gonna challenge my brother's crown and ain't nothing gonna happen to you, young boy,
right?
Like, and then the big reveal. We see this motherfucker's Ice King eye,
sapphire.
You know what I mean? That sapphire. Yeah. If he looked like he looked like. I'm like, yo, cool. That's the Ice King. Like that's they look just like that motherfucker. Like, you know what I mean, in the face. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Could be him. I mean,
because I did so much research on like those generals and stuff like that, and they don't really have no real identity.
It's all rumors. It's all rumors.
Yeah, so I think he becomes Ice King or one of them general motherfuckers. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Probably the one with the long hair, like the one.
All right. Okay.
Oh, you know something.
No. I don't know anything. No. I don't know anything. I assume everything about them was rumors because they never. Like confirmed it in the show or whatever.
He's probably not. Whatever.
Who knows?
But still, you never know.
Yeah.
And man. Then he sets it off on him. He's like, yo. You you still owe me, right? And he like, what you talking about, cuz? He like, yo, cuz, you got my eye, like, yo. So he threw him the knife. He said, yo, I need that eye, fam. Come up off that eye. What you got on my 40, man? What you got on my 40? And he like, man, fuck you, man. Get out of here. I'm leaving. I'm leaving, man. What you talking about? And
Mommy said no fighting. Mommy said no fighting.
And then Borros is like, no, not in my house. You know what I mean? Whatever. And the message seems to be clear.
Yeah.
Whatever. And so it's storming, it's crazy,
dude,
you know what I mean? And then
let's not even like we skipped over the fact when he got there, you saw what's it, the dragon's name?
Erryk or
Aemon's dragon.
Vhagar, yeah.
Vhagar, just how the mass of this dragon, right? The mass of it, and obviously we'll get to it, but like you just see it's like, his whole neck is the entire bridge to get into the main castle. Like it's fucking like it's a house. The dragon is as big as a damn house. Yeah. And so it's just, it sets the scene for this like horror movie in the last 20 minutes of this episode that we get. Because like Luke realizes like, oh shit, it's raining. I'm not in the castle anymore, and the only protection I have is this tiny little atom bomb of a dragon. And it's super small.
His dragon is big compared to him. Yeah. But like you realize, but once you see like this fucking killer whale fucking dragon over top of him, like you're like,
it's insane.
That was scary as fuck for him, bro.
Insane, dude.
I would have been shook, bro. I would have been so scared, bro.
I thought he had it in the bag. I thought he had it in the bag when Homeboy was flying through Skinny in the caves because Vhagar's too big. You can't get in there.
Nah, I can't get in there. Yeah, I would have just sat put a little bit.
Right.
Let him just keep going.
Right.
But that's the scary thing. That's like a Michael Myers type thing. Like where you don't know where this motherfucker is at. Like he know where you at, but you don't know where he at. So I see he had to keep moving.
Yeah.
But I thought he had it. And then so we get this big old dragon chase, man.
And you hear Aemon like laughing through the clouds, like Batman Joker, like fucking like, you owe me a debt, boy. Like just fucking it was the best. That might be one of the best scenes this year. As much
that was
as
good.
The
that
episode,
was good.
I think, that
was good. That was good.
And so, okay, give me how you interpreted the events of the dragon fighting and the demise of Luke and his dragon.
When Luke became lunch.
When we decided to make up, we said, let's just have a little picnic. Let's get out of the storm. We'll go up into the clouds. It's peaceful in the clouds. We'll have a picnic. We'll talk about it. I'll cut my eye out. Just give me the dagger. I'll cut my eye out. We'll talk about it. And then we'll have some lunch. And then, bam. And so...
All right, so when he has his dragon shoot fire at Vhagar... Were they out of the clouds already, or that was when they were still storming?
They were they were still in the storm. And so based on what you just said, means I think you saw it wrong.
Oh, what happened?
So the boys, this whole...
no, they lose control of both dragons. Yeah.
So Luke didn't tell his dragon to shoot the fire. He did that on his own. As soon as he shot the fire, he said, no, Aegon, no, and he tried to turn him away.
Okay.
And then as soon as he did, Vhagar was like, oh, bro, fuck that shit. Fuck this little bitch. I'm gonna fuck him up. And then you hear Aemon going, no, Vhagar, serve me. Right, and that's what they're both saying, right? So they lose all control. And so, dude, fucking just out of the... I watched the scene like 6 times. I watched it like 6 times. Homeboy just... The sound of the crunch. And so, and you only see like a tail and a wing and like another wing fall. That's how big that's how big Vhagar is.
Yes.
Like it's like a house eating you. Like there's nothing left but like the end of your tail and maybe a wing that he didn't get. So the boy is dead. The dragon is gone, and just fucking munched him. And
just lunch
she said,
and it's crazy because
like queen of the dragons, bitch. Like Vhagar's a queen of the dragons. Like don't shoot your little fire spark flames at me. That's like a little Bic lighter on her hands to her. You know what I mean? Like it's like, yo, don't hit me with your fire. I'll eat you for lunch.
So but Aemon did not want. Like you're right. No. He didn't want that to happen, but I didn't realize. I don't think I realized Luke didn't. I know he was saying serve me, but I don't even think I realized.
Right.
He didn't want the dragon to breathe fire either.
Right.
He was just trying to get the fuck out of there. Yeah. And it's funny because then the directors, they say that was like probably the last vestiges of Aemon's like innocence.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, because like, because maybe he just wanted to scare him.
He did.
Maybe he just wanted to spook him, whatever. But yeah, that's some way to, I mean, like you ain't let up, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like you was going hard. So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
And then the episode ends, and that's oh no, then we do get a cut scene. We do get basically Rhaenyra and we see her anguish and we see how she feels about it, and now she realizes it's game time, man, and we gotta do what we gotta do.
Yeah, we get that reveal, and I'm gonna ask our friend here in a second, how did they know? Because it seemed like Rhaenyra got the news real quick. Oh,
yeah, because like it ain't like they ain't no motherfucking GPS.
Right. Or like Aemon didn't fly back to Dragonstone, was like, hey, guess what I did?
Yeah,
like he obviously went home. So yeah, man. I mean,
like how much time passes before they even learn? Because it makes it seem like it's like right after, but like it might have been like weeks or days or something like that. Like know.
It's very. So I guess
we'll ask our friend. Maybe
and so know. So then Rhaenyra gets the news. We see her break. We see her turn, and the last line of the script for this episode is Rhaenyra turns around and she has war in her eyes, and boom, cut to black. So it's like. We're jumping right into it, and the producers and everyone else apparently promised more war in season 2, which I fucking hope so. So man,
we need it.
So just any like final thoughts on that closing battle? I mean, it just.
I like it. You know what I mean? Like I said, this would have been a great. That's Ned Stark beheading right there. That's that level of that. So that's penultimate. This was a penultimate episode.
Right. We needed 11,
and even if we don't get a full war, we still need like something at the end that's like a war. You know what I mean? But
we needed 11. Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? We'll see.
Ladies and gentlemen, so the second half of this podcast episode will be with our friend over on Twitter, Chef Targaryen. Our friend Chef comes through and basically just gives us all of the history, all of the knowledge, and answers all of the questions that we have had throughout this season. He knows everything when it comes to House of the Dragon. So please give it up for our guest. I did a terrible job of introducing him and transitioning in the moment. It was our first live drop in halfway through the episode kind of guest. So please bear with me. But by all means, enjoy now our back end of the conversation, the second half of our season 1 finale episode for House of the Dragon. It's Recap and Record, myself, Los, and our special guest, Chef Targaryen. Enjoy.
What's good, brother?
What's going on, man?
Chilling, man. Chilling.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all having me on.
Yes,
no doubt, man. You're like our House of the Dragon correspondent, man. Like you got all the gems for us. Like when we get stuff wrong, I mean, you come in correct, and we appreciate it, man, because we like, yo, we don't fucking know what's going on, and you got all the gems. He got everything, right?
Whenever whether we're wrong, whether we think we're wrong, or whether we're like, I don't know, I'll look it up later. You always come through, and so we thought, what better than to have you on, sir. And I believe from what your Twitter account, your heritage, it's perfect. It's kind of, we have a celebrity here from the show, the heritage. You are Targaryen, I believe.
Yeah, I'm actually like.
Are you the first Black Targaryen? Is that what's happening here?
Yeah, that's the goal. That was the goal.
That was the goal for the whole time.
If dragons were real, I would definitely go full Aemon and like try to just tame one.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Yeah. And you know what? That actually leads us in to my first question for you. So
are we going to introduce him? I guess we didn't even do that. Like
my apologies, guys. Yeah. I don't even know. I wouldn't even.
I know we never had a guest on here.
We've never had a guest. I don't even know how to introduce you. You know,
I don't even know how to do it. This is the first podcast I've ever done. I'm just doing this.
Oh, so you never? All right. So the way I know you is through Twitter, and we both follow like right on Q Live, and I felt I was like, yo, you must have been a guest at some point in time.
No, man, it's just the natural, being back home from Philly, everybody, how Twitter goes, you end up, having, mutual friends and conversations, on everything in pop culture, everybody shoots the follow, you shoot the follow back. So, It's kind of become a good community from talking through everything, pop culture and TV, music, whatever.
Okay. Yeah, because G's, that's my cousin. Yeah, I mean, G's, I mean, so that's like, so, and I figured like he know my cousin, he know Q, so like he must have been on the show. Like,
So the funny thing is, I don't know if you know Miera, she goes by Penny Isaac on Twitter.
Yes.
So we went to high school together.
Oh,
so that's how talking, a lot with her on Twitter. Kind of got, linked in conversations with G's and Q.
Yes.
They shot me some follows, shot them to follow back. And, everything just kind of built from there, from talking, through TV, music, everything with everyone.
Sports, all that. Yeah.
Just keeps, everybody from the, the city area together.
Right.
Talking to things.
That's what's up. What's up, man.
Yep.
So we got the chef, man. We got the chef here, man.
Chef Targaryen. Hell yeah. Of course, man. And so tell us a little bit, give the people how are you so versed? I'm assuming you had to have read the books. Give us your history with Game of Thrones, House of Dragons. Where's your knowledge come from? Why are you the guy? How do you know it all?
So funny story, when I first got into it, I don't think I got into it till about season 3, 4. I think it was 4. It was actually like the episode 9, which is the battle at the wall.
Right.
Oh.
So where I'm at school, I go over to my best friend's apartment, and some girl had put him onto the show. But I walk in the crib and we go, we're going to kick it, whatever, before we go to basketball practice, and he watching the battle at the wall episode. I'm like, oh, what is this?
Right.
That's a crazy episode to walk into. And I walk right in when they like fighting at the wall. I'm like, yo, what's this? He's like, oh, it's Game of Thrones. You got to get into it. So I go home that night, turn on season 1. And I probably stayed up to like 7 in the morning, just like watching season 1.
Oh, shit.
And so I got real into the show. And the girl I was dating at the time, right after we started watching the show. So for, I think it was either Christmas or my birthday, she ends up buying me the Song of Ice and Fire book series.
Oh, okay.
So that's how I got into reading the book. And also on top of that, which is how I kind of got into the whole history of it, is it's like the encyclopedia of Westeros. It's called The World of Ice and Fire.
Okay.
So it goes back, it talks about the first men, the Andals,
I need that.
Rhaenyra coming over her 1,000 ships, like all of that. So it goes back like in the deep history of like all the Targaryens. It goes back to the doom of Valyria, like everything.
Right.
So it's kind of like a little like encyclopedia history book.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones. And it kind of became like my most favorite fantasy series, like outside of Harry Potter.
Okay.
And I just dug into it, and I actually I would go back and I would read, okay, who's this person's parent? Okay, how are they related to them? And I would just get so far back.
Right.
Trees.
And it has everything in that book.
It has everything in there, like the family trees and anyone of any importance. So as I went through the book, then I really started getting into like that wiki of Ice and Fire.
Yes.
It really gets into like everyone's story and what side they were on and who they were with. And so that's how I got into kind of knowing like pretty much everyone's like family tree from time of conquest on.
Dude,
that's lit. That's lit. Yeah. I gotta get that book. How much is that book, bro? Like, how you
honestly, I didn't pay for it, so I'm not even sure. I think I want to say the actual books only cost me like the series book. So she bought me like the first 4, and I bought the 5th one. That one's called a Dance with Dragons.
Okay.
Or it's called a Dance with Dragon or Dance of Dragon. But it's funny that war way back then was named that. And then this book, which is like where it should be in the current kind of where we were at the end of Game of Thrones. And they gave it the same name.
Okay.
That one only cost me like, I want to say like $10-15.
Oh, okay.
I think the big one only cost her at the time, I want to say she said like 30, 40. Yeah. So it wasn't too bad. It's a huge book. But not too bad.
Cool.
Okay. Cool. That's what's up.
Yeah, man. No, I dig it. I'd say anyone with an encyclopedia or with all of the books is pretty qualified as far as that goes. So, I mean, man, like we said, all throughout this season, these 10 episodes, this new podcast venture Los and I have, we're posted on Twitter and we're interacting, and just about any time we were wrong or needed more information, you were there. So I kind of just essentially wanted to use this as just like a kind of like Q&A. Maybe we'll start with a question and that'll kind of spark more conversation. But so before we get to that part, how tell us about your experience with season 1. How did you like it compared to the books and what you know there, and some of the differences and all of the other things that happen and talk about? How did you feel about this season as a whole?
So, as a whole, I actually really like season 1.
Okay.
I didn't really get too worked up over like the time jumps or anything like that.
Okay.
Maybe because I'm a person who knew like some of the backstory, so I can understand as, you know, a person who doesn't read the books or doesn't know some of the backstories, like how much stuff really isn't as important in these time jumps.
Oh.
Because a lot of you don't realize, not as book readers, in Fire and Blood, this like time from Rhaenyra like being named heir and everything, like it's not as detailed as the original series. So it's like maybe a chapter or two.
Okay.
For Lucerys's death, like the depth of the book really covers like the war, like the actual war and the battles and everything. So like, even I think I told you guys on Twitter, like that battle for the Stepstones, like they turned that into like a 2-episode thing,
right?
When really it's like a 3-sentence paragraph in the book.
Oh wow!
See what I tell you, the episode 6 or whatever, the whole thing was like a paragraph or something in the book.
So like, and that's why he said too, when I guess those people were talking about like, oh, it's gonna take 4 full seasons. I was like, come on, and he was like, nah, bro, like that shit is long, like you know what I mean, like that battle is long.
It eventually will go into like who reigns after.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
You know, so like that's the part we gotta remember. And like it's a pretty for family be fighting. It's a pretty crazy.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn,
and so crazy. What are your what do you, based on what you know now, the books, what you've heard from the show, can you give us what's your best prediction for season 2? Like, is there like a big event, like the battle at Storm's End, or like obviously the dance is starting, but
honestly, yeah, it all depends on how you know they plan to plan it out, because if they plan on going 4 full seasons, you know, there's going to be a lot of war plotting.
Right.
There's going to be some, you know, if they keep it kind of with, you know, the historians of the book. Because the difference between how the Fire and Blood is written as opposed to A Song of Ice and Fire, where that's written in like Song of Ice and Fire, which is like the Game of Thrones series.
Right.
Yes.
Those are written in like character POV.
Oh, okay. Kind of like the Bible or some shit like that.
When you're reading
like...
Daenerys' chapter, you're reading like what she's thinking and what her conversations and what she's saying. Whereas Fire and Blood is like, it's 2 maesters and then the court fool. And they're all telling how they saw it.
Right. Third person
so
omniscient.
All third person point of view. So when everyone's getting worked up and they're like, oh, it's not matching the book, you're like, whoa, you got to remember, it's like
they were playing the telephone game. Right.
Yeah. Hearsay and all that. Yeah.
These are people telling the story, but what the show's trying to do is give you what happened. Now, there are some changes they made where it's like Alicent is actually a lot older than Rhaenyra.
Right.
Yes.
And, you know, they kind of made them like, they kind of played the best friend angle in their relationship.
Right.
Where it was like Alicent was like the older, you know, they weren't really best friends, but she was like a big sister.
Big sister. Okay. Big sister, little sister. Yeah.
So the betrayal of her marrying Viserys wasn't as major as they made it in the show.
Okay.
But everything that came after did play a huge role. And you know, they kind of, you know, make Alicent, you know, seem a little more innocent.
Yeah.
No, but she's in the book, she's a lot like her father.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing that we were talking about prior to you getting here is just how like it's we don't want to compare it to Game of Thrones and stuff like that, but like it's hard not to. And we just like, yo, how it's so detailed and everything like that. So like the time jumps did mess with us a little bit. And we just wanted to know like is it that like how deep do they really get and things like that. But I guess like just kind of backtracking and just focusing on this series, like what was like a scene or an episode that really stood out to you that like you was like, oh yo, they really depict that well or something like that.
Man, actually it and they did change some stuff from it, but it was kind of like Aegon's coronation. Where it was like they actually did plan that like to crown him in front of the masses.
Okay.
To do all that. Now, what's different from the book is it kind of like they made this like drunk like search for him, which wasn't as a thing really in the book.
Okay.
Like and it wasn't as much as like he didn't want it originally, which was very much the same.
Okay.
He was very like, yo, like what kind of person am I to take my sister's birthright? Like she's the heir. Like he said that to Allison.
Oh,
like,
so you
who am I? Okay. Yeah, he was like, who am I to do this? Like to do this to my sister. And same way where Allison was in, I forget what episode it was when she told him like, she'll put you and your siblings and your kids to the sword. Right. That's pretty much what she told him like right before his coronation. And then that's when he was like, you know what? Like I'm taking this crown.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, and she's been priming him. She's been priming him ever since we've seen him in the series with that verdict. And, like you need to get ready. You need to be king. You need to stop being lazy. Right.
Yeah. And he was very like chill. Like, hey, like I'm not the one in line, and it is what it is. And until she's like, hey, she'll kill you and your brothers, your sisters, your kids. And then it was like, all right, well, I'm taking it. And they did crown him in front of the masses in the book, like much like they did in the show, which I actually really loved, like the lead up to his coronation once they were in the dragon pit. And the only difference that they didn't do, which, like you said, they could be telling the truth here. And, the book is just, these other people telling their story, is he flew his dragon Sunfire, like around King's Landing.
Okay.
Oh, see, so, that would have made that episode so much better if they would have added one more dragon in there. Why that should have been a scene in the show, of course.
I wish they did.
We could have cut 5 minutes of them searching for a boy, 25 minutes spent on searching for a silly little boy under the cabinet, and they could have showed us a dragon. Like, that's silly. Okay.
Yeah, great. I wish they did show his dragon a little more. They showed it on when they were at Driftmark a little. He's like gave you a quick glimpse. But he's actually Sunfire is actually described, by the masses as actually being like the most beautiful dragon.
Right.
There.
Oh.
Yeah, the nickname's it's Sunfire the Golden.
Oh, nice.
Cool. The scales are so gold, and like the way it glimmers in the sun, it's actually supposed to be the most beautiful dragon.
Speaking of dragons, we didn't actually touch on it in our review, but why? And I don't think they explained it in the show. It was just a scene, maybe just a therapy session. But what is the purpose, and what is coming next for Daemon and his new singing partner that he has in the caves? Because
so like I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but. But like, so in the books, they become, as they go into war, they, the blacks, they end up taking on what people call the dragon seeds, which are Targaryen
just
bastards.
Other riders, right? So I forgot to
I didn't watch the video. I didn't watch that one video that you sent me.
Yeah, so
I didn't want to spoil anything. But.
Yeah, they call them the dragon seeds. So they're like Targaryen bastards,
little cousins, distant relatives,
live on Dragonstone,
and, right?
Don't have the ability to claim a dragon,
right?
But don't have a dragon yet. So they eventually like use them as more dragon riders in the war.
Oh snap! That's lit.
Yeah.
So do you think I don't know where Levi was about to go, but I'm like, yo, is Rhaenyra gonna come back? Maybe, you know what I mean? Like, cause I know he really died in the books, right? Like he
he dies, and actually died in front of people, like at a market or fair, or whatever it's called. He was actually killed in front, like they fought in front of people and he was killed.
Okay.
So I am interested to see what's going to happen with that, because in the story, someone else ends up claiming sea smoke.
Right.
There's actually a Velaryon Targaryen bastard who ends up supposedly a bastard of Rhaenyra, which, as everyone knows, is sexuality.
Yeah.
That ends up claiming
what?
So like
he gave maybe someone else a baby. He gave someone else a baby. He couldn't give Rhaenyra a baby. That piece of shit. They should have put him in the fireplace. They should have put his ass in the fireplace. Get the hell out of here! Not giving Rhaenyra no baby.
So so they end up like all the dragons. There's a ton of dragons throughout the story, which is why this story is really such a big part of the whole lore of Game of Thrones. Right. Is with Daenerys and her getting those dragons, and the Targaryens having dragons again, in a sense, when she gets hers, is this war was literally is like the end of these dragons until she has her dragons.
They extinct themselves, right, because of what we see with Vhagar in episode 10. They pretty much extinct themselves because they're not like, dragons don't eat dragons. It's just they're fucking monsters, and that's what they do. So it's the demise of the dragons. Very interesting. So we'll see King Jaehaerys' dragon, I'm assuming, play a role in season 2.
King Jaehaerys' dragon. You'll see his wife, Queen Alicent. You'll see her dragon, Silverwing.
Yeah.
My understanding, there's three wild dragons.
Yes.
Sheep Stealer.
Yep.
I can't remember the other two's name.
They had other two.
Cannibal. One's called the Cannibal.
Yes.
And I can't remember the third one's name. But
they only catch one. It's
like Grey Ghost or something like that.
Yeah, Grey Ghost. Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
So there's 3 wild dragons.
And the Cannibal.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but so we have in this whole however many seasons we see 17 in total. And we've seen
I think they said there's going to be
17
in
so far. We've
already seen about 9 or 10 so far. And then we haven't seen Baela's dragon, which is Moon Dancer. Right. They have yet to see Baela's dragon.
Right.
We haven't seen Joffrey's dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Helena has 2 children with dragons. Jucerys and Macaris. The names are so ridiculous. Can we do something with the damn names? We gotta do something with the damn names. And more are coming, right? Like season 2, we're gonna get like 6 more kids, aren't we?
Yeah, so you should get more. You won't get any more kids from Rhaenyra.
Right.
Okay.
Her kids are her kids.
Well, there's Alicent and Viserys have a child now.
They have that
we haven't
son,
even seen. Darren. Yeah, Darren's been running around the castle.
Remember where they said that the Greens have 4 dragons? Well, Darren also has a dragon.
Right.
Yeah. Who the fuck is Darren? Like
now in the show,
Darren's like
Darren Targaryen. He's in
Targaryen. Darren Targaryen.
He's in Old Town with the high towers. Like
definitely white.
Yeah, that is the home base of the hot tower.
Yeah, okay.
And they said he's going to be there in season 2, which is good because he's actually like a book favorite, like a fan favorite.
Wait.
Targaryen. Okay. So, all right. So, I don't know where. Like again, Leroy.
Go.
We were wondering. All right. So obviously, we seen in that last scene, Vhagar had lunch with Lucerys. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so. We wanted to know, like, how did they find out? Like, how did they find, like, how much time passes? How did they find out that Luke got eaten by a dragon? Like, you know what I mean? Because we don't see that on screen.
That actually gets in the story gets reported. People saw it at Storm's End.
I was gonna say that was
Now they fought so high in the sky, in a sense, like in the show.
Yeah.
Then they fought high in the sky, but they were closer towards the castle.
Okay,
if that makes sense. So people,
it seemed like they went far. It seemed like they got
like they got pretty far in the show.
Yeah,
but people at Storm's End like kind of seen them, like
saw it happen. Right,
they knew what it was, like
right.
Because the same way in the show, it kind of happens in the book where Lord Borros Baratheon, he's like, hey, like Aemon did the same thing. Like, look, you're gonna give me your eye, as payback, and Borros Baratheon's like, listen. No fighting. He's like, he came here as a messenger. There's no fighting in my hall. I won't have this. He's like, what you do outside of my castle is on you, but you won't fight in the castle. So, same way the show, Lucerys goes to leave, Aemon follows. Now, who's to know? But you follow somebody on a dragon like Vhagar, who, Vhagar's been in war since the conquest.
Right.
You can't play the like, oh, I just was playing and chasing them to scare him game.
Yeah,
Like, she ain't the dragon to be like, none of them are, but like, she's really not the dragon to be playing like that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
See, and when I first watched it too, my initial thought was, oh, Aemon wanted 100% that to happen. He was behind the whole thing. It took me like a second rewind to realize that like they all lost control. But at the same time, it's like, hey, like we've seen Aemon's hints of chaos in these last episodes. His smirks, his like need for this revenge, even at a younger age in the cave, like we talked about it last week. Like it just, he's been forming this obsession with violence and murder.
And that's
essentially
very much who he is in the book. He's very chaotic. Like he's Aegon's the brother who, he described in the book he was a drunk. Where Aemon's like the warrior.
Right.
He's much, and I know everyone's talking like how much he looks like Daemon. Like it's like
And but with like, the name, with the letter,
that's just what it kind of like he's very much his uncle's nephew.
Right.
That's crazy.
They're the same person in a sense. And that's like as things come, to an end towards the end of the show, like we'll continue to see like how much more, they're alike in a sense. They both love their family, but they're both a little unhinged.
Ain't that crazy how like there's even parallels though of that where you say one is the warrior, one is the, the drunk. That I feel that sounds like Robert Baratheon, how like he was a warrior and about this shit, whatever. And then once he got into the once he became the king, he became the fat drunk that, nobody, he ain't really give a fuck about stuff.
And one thing about Aegon, as much as a drunk, he ain't soft. He's like Robert. Like,
okay.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I might be, off the hinges, but like if it comes down to that action, like
okay.
Get to the action. So Aegon is about the fighting when he really needs to get into it.
Okay.
That's good to know. Yeah. So I'm
assuming like Robert's brother was kind of like him and Stannis, and then like Renly was the soft one.
Yeah.
Like Aegon will, he'll get to that action.
Okay.
All the brothers will, as you meet Darren as well.
Darren Targaryen. I like that name.
Darren is Darren.
Name. Out of all the fucking names, out of all the names, he's got the most regular ass Darren. Let me speak to you a minute.
Until we heard about Darren Targaryen.
My God, Darren. That's crazy.
But yeah, it's insane how many like times like these names are like passed on. Like how many people have like Daenerys is actually named after an ancestor.
Of course.
Yes. Yeah. I think I've seen that in the
film. Even Rhaenys is named after Aegon's wife, the first Aegon.
Yes.
So the names the daughter Rhaenyra had that was a stillbirth. She was going to name her after Visenya, which was Aegon's first wife.
Oh,
so like they recycled names a lot throughout like the Targaryen family.
Dude. Yeah.
And everyone named their kid. There's like, and then it ends up being 5 kings. We're all named Aegon.
I know, right? Yeah. And it's just crazy how how this plays out.
Right.
Like the song of Fire and Ice and yeah. So can you explain that to us? So yeah, that was a big thing that we were talking about. So obviously, when Rhaenyra is talking to Daemon, when he yokes her up or whatever, and she's like, oh, I mean, but she's saying about the song of Fire and Ice, and he's like, oh, that was my brother's problem. Yeah, I mean, he was worried about these omens, whatever. And then she was like, oh, you didn't know. So like, who's privy to that information about
that prophecy is supposed to be passed from king to heir to named heir. So.
That makes
heir
sense.
That, they chose, but for so long, which kind of, screwed things up. Aegon passed it to his son Rhaenys. It's Rhaenys or Rhaenys, however you want to say it. I like to say, it sounds funnier as Rhaenys. But so he had 2 sons, Aegon the Conqueror.
Yes.
Rhaenys and Maegor.
Okay.
So,
and is that what you said? Because remember I said something about the usurp. Okay, yeah. Okay.
So I want to assume that Rhaenys told his son
Amos.
his son Aegon, the prophecy, but probably didn't, and Aegon probably told, who he was going to name heir, which was, whatever, as this passed down. But Maegor usurped the throne from and killed his nephew.
Oh shit.
He actually rode Velaryon the Black Dread and killed his nephew in a battle, and took the throne when it was time.
Dope.
Because he felt like, it was his turn. Hey, my brother ruled.
Right.
And his mom felt the same way. Kind of like, Alicent feels in this sense. In some ways, but Visenya was like, hey, like, the Conqueror had two sons. One son ruled, the other son should get the rule too.
Right.
Yeah. That's dope, man.
Crazy.
But eventually, Aegon was the father of he was the elder brother of King Jacaerys.
Okay.
There you go.
So that's how Jacaerys eventually ends up taking the throne. He rules for forever after Maegor dies.
Yeah.
Jacaerys takes the throne. He becomes named heir because Maegor had no sons to pass down to, so they went back to the other brother.
Okay.
But obviously, as Jacaerys' health was failing, he had sons. They both died before it was their time to become king. One is, the father of Rhaenys, and she's the eldest of the living grandchildren of Jacaerys, and then the eldest male is Viserys.
Yes.
And then he has Daemon as well. But it's actually funny as we talk about, trying to pass to Rhaenyra being queen, was Jacaerys' wife was actually really upset that he didn't just name Rhaenys his heir.
Oh, okay.
And then she died before the passing of the crown came, but she actually had told him, when he was, all undecided, like, and he's like, and it's like a famous quote she says, and she's like, it doesn't take having a cock to be a good ruler. It takes a good mind and a kind heart.
Right.
And she's like, and if you don't feel like a woman can rule, like, pretty much she was like, I won't talk to you. And she left him for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Flying around Westeros on a dragon. She went to see the wall, everything. She left him for like 2 years.
What? That's dope.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So yeah, she felt that Rhaenys actually should have been queen. And I think if she had lived, because she's called the good queen.
Okay.
Everyone loved her.
Right.
I think had she been alive at the time of that great council, Rhaenys probably would have
been queen. Right.
So if they and just say she would have been queen, if they were going to do a House of the Dragon show, where do you think that they would have started? And do you like how they started at this point, whatever, or should they have started? Because I remember we've talked about that too a little bit. Like, I wanted to see Mad King, type deal. It was his life, but then also want to see Aegon the Conqueror, like just how it all starts. So
whenever they were talking about, what spinoffs they were going to do, I wasn't really for like the whole, like, everyone's like they just want to see Jon Snow again. I don't really care about what he's doing beyond the wall. Like, I'm just bro, you should have accepted you were the Targaryen. You rode a dragon,
right?
You created a bond with the dragon. Accepted you're Targaryen, because this ain't something you should have realized at that point. Like, oh, I'm really a Targaryen, because this ain't something everybody can do. Everybody can't hop on the back of those dragons.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wasted. The whole thing wasted. Yeah.
Yeah. So
whole prophecy essentially wasted.
And that's even something different.
200 years of shit just wasted.
They didn't really, and it sucks because like George R. Like he hasn't really written that part in the books yet.
Right.
And
right.
If you remember, and I'll go back a little, but if you remember Rhaegar's son, that were killed by the Hound, the son and the daughter.
Yes.
Well, it's in the book that, they believe that, they got the young Aegon, which was Rhaegar's first son, Aegon, before they haven't revealed what Jon Snow's real name was going to be, but they gave him Aegon in the show, which is, just changing stuff from the books.
Right.
But, he ends up being in Essos, and he's going to find Daenerys, and he's like, I'm going to find my aunt, make my claim. And he's like, we can get married and take over the Seven Kingdoms or whatever. But like, it's, as he feels, it's his claim. Hey, my dad was the prince and I was next in line. But no, I was actually my three favorite, but going back, my three favorite points that I wanted to see ultimately was the Dance of the Dragons.
Okay.
Aegon's Conquest.
Yes.
And Robert's Rebellion.
Oh yeah, to really see Robert's Rebellion
the Mad King and Rhaegar and everyone else. And as I had got reading into the history, it was like the Dance of the Dragons became so interesting because it was just like, how did these dragons just disappear?
Right. Okay.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? They go from they're everywhere for 200 something years or 100 something years, and then they're not around for 200 years.
Yep.
Okay. So this is actually probably the best Targaryen period they could have chose.
Right.
Yeah.
Based other than the first, I think other than the Conquest guy, but yeah. Okay.
So
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, this was probably like going to be like where the Conquest is kind of weird because this is literally going to be coming through. It's like Aegon just coming through and just you got like you know what I mean? Like, and this is at the time where Balerion the Black Dread is the largest dragon in the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And Vhagar of the three in the Conquest, Vhagar, Meraxes, and Balerion, Vhagar is actually the smallest of the three at the time of the Conquest.
So there you
go.
Right. So there you go.
So you're saying that this is how big these like Balerion and Meraxes are, but Meraxes gets killed in Dorne when they try to take over Dorne. Meraxes and Rhaenys she gets hit by a scorpion. That's how they lose Meraxes, but Vhagar ends up Balerion and Vhagar survived the Conquest. Balerion dies of old age, which was we talked about on Twitter with Viserys not having a rider.
Yeah, that's right.
Dragon, but his dragon was Balerion.
Right.
Okay.
He's the last rider of Balerion before Balerion died of old age.
Damn. That's deep.
So
man.
he just never claims another dragon after that. He's just like
he didn't have to. Right.
For what? It's peace and everything's peaceful. My grandfather ruled peaceful for forever, and then, and Viserys ruled at a peaceful time, but just not realizing that, people were playing him behind his back.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, boys, what are the rumors here? We got to wait till 2024.
Whoa, for real?
Is that what's happening? Is that it? Is that
come on, man.
I don't know. So they said filming early 2023. I don't know anything about how production goes. Yeah. So I'm hoping like, okay, if you film early 2023, do your little edits and stuff, you gotta give us like
filming will begin
October 2023 at least.
Filming will begin in early 2023. No premiere date has been set yet. Hopefully, House of the Dragon season 2 will return quickly, but HBO has not confirmed anything about the release date. Filming is set to begin in 2023, so we may not see season 2 until 2024.
Oh my god! You know how long that is, man.
Yeah, like we might not even like each other at that point. Like we might not even get through recap and record season 2 at that point.
So I'm hoping that it's back before 2024.
Well, let's fucking hope.
But I'm thinking, if anything, so if you remember with the original series before, like that last season, it always started in like early April.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if they're trying to get back, after COVID and everything that happened with COVID. Because this was actually supposed to be done years ago already, before COVID,
Well, you know what's going to happen? Do you think we're going to get one of those other series in between or something like or no, they didn't do no Jon Snow stuff, did they?
No, I think the next one that they're going to do, I wanted to be Robert's Rebellion, but I honestly think the next one that they're going to do is the Dunk and Egg books, which is King Aegon V, the younger brother of Master Aemon. So if you remember in Game of Thrones, Master Aemon talks about how
he's an egg,
his brother Egg. Yep. So and some interesting things happen with Egg and him killing his whole family trying to hatch dragon eggs.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Well, if they film, so here's the issue. If they film in early 2023, like February, March, that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When did this start? September. That gives them 6 months to edit 10 episodes. to do another September season 2 launch, and I don't think 6 months is enough for a $40 million dragon show.
I was gonna say, when did they start filming? When did they start filming this season? Though
I know. I wonder.
Right.
I wonder
because they've been doing promo for this since at least like.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Filming for season 1 began in late April 2021. And so it took a year. So it took a year and a half to edit. Right. So if we're talking early 2023, a year and a half would put us in September 2024.
Damn.
It's a long time, man.
That's a long time.
I mean, how long we waited like so long for season 8 or season 7, didn't we? Like,
they were playing around because they broke that one up. They broke that up.
Yeah. And I guess in a sense, as you go on, you get more effects and more, money. Because you think like even looking back to like the tourney at in King's Landing for House of the Dragon, as opposed to the original series where it was like Robert's tourney, which is like.
Right.
Like in comparison now, it looks like some little thrown together mess.
Yeah.
This was like some grand thing. So, I mean, I guess that makes sense. As production, you spend more money and you got to handle more effects, and obviously you got to incorporate all these dragons and fighting in a war.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like Daenerys didn't. Obviously, hers weren't. I want to say as large because they did make Drogon a lot larger than he was supposed to be. But she didn't use them as much and like for fighting.
Right.
Yeah, she didn't.
Like that's how I feel at the time. Like I'm very pro Targaryen, but like if I got these dragons, like you're not about to keep talking to me crazy.
Pro Targaryen.
I'm that person. Like I'd be like how Daemon uses Carax. He's like, listen, let me remind you real quick.
Right.
And his dragon's fucked up. Like
off at the mouth. Like,
yeah.
Because every time he like somebody popped, like the first time Otto kind of popped off,
right?
Like he's like, oh. Okay, Caraxes came over the mountain. Like,
right.
Let me remind you. Your mouth. This can get very dangerous here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And Daemon's ready.
With as Otto kind of threatened Rhaenyra in this last episode, Cyrax was like, "Let me remind y'all on this bridge." Like, and that's where I feel like with Daenerys, it was like by the time she started using her dragons, it was like it's like too late.
Yep.
And she was already kind of thrown off by that point. Like she was
like it was already so much pain and death in her life, and it made her seem, like she went mad.
Yeah.
Like who wouldn't have went crazy? Every keep taking everything from me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Well, boys, I think that's a wrap. It's been 10 episodes, 10 hours, 10 seasons. Chef, thank you so much, Mr. Targaryen, for joining us today. One of the last Targaryens alive on this planet. And we thank you for your knowledge and your continued support on this podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. Los,
thank you guys for having me on.
Yes, sir.
No doubt, bro. No doubt, man. Kareem Hunt, man. I need you to go to a good team so you're the main back. I know you're a big Kareem Hunt guy.
I want him back in KC, man. I
don't care him. As long as he's the main guy. Like I need him.
I'm mad we never traded him. Like bring him back. Bring him back. You want to bring him back?
Right. So. But all right, man. Yeah, man. I had a good time this season, man. Thank you for coming on, Levi, man. We gotta run this back whenever.
Yeah.
Season 2 might not be on House of the Dragon because
we're gonna
can't
figure
wait
it
that
out.
long.
Yeah, we're gonna figure it out.
We're gonna do something though. We're gonna do something. So.
Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the final episode of Recap and Record Season 1. Thank you so much for rocking with us. My name's Levi McCurdy. That's Los, host of the 280 Plus podcast. Check out mine. It's called What Are We Doing? We'll see you guys next time. Peace
out, man.
Yeah.